to make this video because of what happened to me with my latest purchase, which I purchased it online, and I know I've given advice saying don't purchase a guitar online, go to the guitar store and you know, check out the one that they give you, check out the ones that you really like, and then say, right, give us the box, open it up and have a look at it. Which, the reason why I didn't purchase it from my local store, well, not local, it's over 100 kilometres away, is because they didn't have it in stock at the time when I ordered it. The store that I'm talking about is Artie's Music, ARTIE/S, Artie's. Now, they do have franchises. I'm not sure how many franchises they've got. So even though they've got the same name, they are not the same company. They're franchises. They're different ownership and whatnot. They do have they do stock similar lines, or very similar lines. But the smaller stores, clearly they don't have the capacity to stock as much as the big store, the home office, which is, as far as I'm aware, is Artie's in Aspley in Brisbane. Now, another reason I ordered it from Artie's in Aspley is because it's the head office. There's a little bit more expertise. And also, before I do any ordering, I do a little bit of research regarding the retailer, and I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and there was nothing but glowing praise for Artie's in Aspley. I've been, like, I do go to the Townsville one, but I just buy strings and stuff like that. Now, what I wanted to really talk about was the pitfalls of buying a cheap guitar. So, because I mean, if you're a parent, or someone on a really tight budget, and like the quality of the cheap guitars these days is just, yeah, it's pretty good, like really good. In comparison, I'm talking comparatively to what it was, say, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, cheap guitars were junk. You still get junk, you know, but generally speaking, the cheap guitars these days are of a standard that is acceptable, sometimes good. I won't say very good. The general construction and quality of the parts, I have to say, is very good. Where it falls down, generally, most times, is the neck. Okay, the neck, because that's the part that takes the most amount of work, you know, to perfect. A lot of times you'll have the issues that you'll experience is the frets aren't level, so they're not all on the same plane. There's some that are higher, some that are all over the place. Now, the problem there is for someone who is just buying a cheap guitar, say like for the first time, is that typically the action will come very high to mitigate the fact that you have got uneven frets, or high frets, uneven frets. And because if you actually set the action to, or the string height to the height that it really should be, or, you know, that makes it the easiest to play, most comfortable to play, you'd be getting fret buzz, probably a lot of it. Now, pardon me, I'm drinking coffee, excuse me. Now, the problem there is that when you buy a cheap guitar and you have got fret issues, ants everywhere, is that most people, or pretty much everybody, not everybody, but 99.9% of the people who buy cheap guitars don't have the means to fix the problems, mainly being the frets. Now, on this guitar, so there are the main problems that I've go through is uneven frets. So They're all over the place. And this one, this is not the bottom of the line. This is the Affinity Jazzmaster. And I don't know if you can pick that up. I'll try and... the areas that I've marked in blue is where the frets are high. So what that tells me is that when this was constructed, it wasn't... The frets, it's unlikely that they were done in an arbor press, which is quite accurate in setting the frets. They were probably just hammered in. And what happens is when you hammer it in, you get like slight, you don't get a fret that's totally raised. It'll just be one little spot where they've gone bang, 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 and just sort of not hammered in one spot. To me, it's a really sloppy way of putting frets in. I don't like that idea at all. If I was going to be doing refretting, I'll be honest, I've never done a refret. Yes, I'll even, like I've got radius blocks, I've got, all the gear, but I don't do I haven't never done a refret. It's not hard to do, but you do need to, if you want to do it the sloppy way with a hammer, I'm not a big fan of that. I personally would not want to do that, and I would not want someone to refret my guitar hammering the frets in. I just got no time for that. Just hang on a sec. Oh yeah, okay. Alright, so I'm just going to have to stop there because, and I'll explain to you when I come back, so I'll be back in a minute. Back again. Now, I wanted to discuss, what I wanted to discuss was, it's a catch-22 situation with budget guitars because, yeah, they'll produce something that is pretty good so that and affordable so that people can purchase a decent electric guitar. Problem being is that the refinements that you get in a pardon me, no coffee. The refinements that you get in a say, I don't know, $800,000 plus guitar. I mean, you can't do it with a guitar that only costs whatever, $250, 300, 400, 500 even. So yeah, they're giving people value for money, but the problem is that, especially if it's like a young kid's first guitar, and the action is really high because the frets are all over the place, so it's really uncomfortable to play because it is high. You're having to really squeeze the strings to fret them out. Yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. It's alright for guys like me who've got the equipment to, it's not a lot, but if you don't even know if you're going to bother keeping the thing or keep playing it, or your son, daughter, whoever, then there's not really much point in investing in tools to fix the #1 problem, the fretboard. The other thing that you'll get is sharp fret ends, because it takes a fair bit of work to round them off and whatnot. Now, fret rocker, so what that does is it determines whether there are high frets, and that one is. That is rocking right there. Not there though. So yeah, a fret rocker to determine where your high fret, where they're high, and to actually get the fretboard straight so that you can level the frets. You need one of these, and they're not that cheap. This is a cheaper one, but it's still good value. I'll do a review of these things later because I've got a really cheap pair. Now I've got that pair, which is a fair bit more expensive, and then I've actually got a set from Stu Mac coming as well. Now, damn flies, a drink. So generally speaking, most of the time the tuners are okay. The biggest problems that you'll have is the nut and the frets. They're the two biggest problems that you'll have. The rest of it, you really shouldn't. I can't see any problems at all. Perhaps the neck won't be set, exactly straight, and the low E, which is actually up top, and the high E, the distance between the strings and the end of the edge of the fretboard will be either skew F, or one will be more. Usually they'll be skew F because the neck has not been set, or in transit. I mean, these things come in a shipping container by the thousands, and whether in shipping or whether they just didn't, they're slapped. I mean, a $250 guitar, hey, it's going to be thrown together, but the components will be okay. So the basis of the instrument will be fine. All you've got to do is just a little bit of stuffing around to get it right, which is fretwork. Unfortunately, yeah, you got to at least have some sort of straight edge to determine what the frets are doing. Like if you, or with the other thing that you won't get is intonation. So if you don't know what intonation is, jump on YouTube and there's a million videos explaining how to intonate the guitar. Essentially, you've got the 12th fret. You should get same tone, or should get same pitch, whatever, as you do when it's open. So now that's another thing, but it's not hard to do. The only problem that I've ever had with cheap guitars with intonation is where the actual screws on adjusting the saddles, I've had to cut them, and I'm not sure if there's one cheap guitar where I didn't have to cut some of them. Usually you have to cut them so that they don't hit the string. This is a top load. Oh no, it's a through body. Yeah, it's a through body, even though, yeah, it's a through body. So they're the sort of pitfalls, really. Yeah, so it is a catch-22 situation. Yeah, you're going to get an affordable guitar that's pretty good, but you're going to have problems with the frets. I don't think there's one cheap guitar that I've bought, there isn't, that I didn't have to do some sort of fret work on. Some of it isn't necessarily essential, but I like to do it because I've got the tools to do it, so I do it. Now, last but not least, I wanted to give a big shout out to Artie's Music in Aspley in Brisbane, and in particular Elliot, who I've been dealing with. As soon as I rang him, and you'll see the phone conversation, I don't know if they're going to be happy about me playing it, but I'm going to play it because it was, it went really well, and it shines a really good light on Artie's and on Elliot. I'll tell you right now, if you're thinking of ordering a guitar online, do not hesitate. Really, don't hesitate in ordering it from Artie's in Aspley, because the customer service is second to none. Now that guitar, that Starcaster, that had the loose skunk stripe, there was a few options that he threw up, one that I preferred but was never going to happen, because even though the stores have got the same name, they're completely different owners, and I think it was more Fender themselves who said, no, we're not going to do that. But Fender are sending, I just spoke to Elliot before, Fender are sending another one to the Aspley store. They're going to ship that to me as soon as it gets there. Meanwhile, Elliot just sent me, not long ago, an email with a dispatch docket on it, and a consignment note, dispatch docket, and I've put that on the box, and that's ready to go, and that'll be going tomorrow back to them. So what else, there's really not a whole lot more they can do, realistically. So that's fantastic. Again, don't hesitate in ordering from, sweating like crazy because it's so humid. Do not hesitate in ordering from Artie's Music in Aspley. fantastic customer service. All of the reviews that I read of them were glowing, like really, and I can see why. I did not see one bad review, and there's a good reason for that, because their customer service appears to be second to none. So, again, thank you, Elliot. Can't wait to get the the new Starcaster, and they're gonna. He said to me, "Look, we're gonna take it out and give it the once over because yeah, we don't want to send you another one with a problem." The chances of having two guitars with loose skunk stripes is probably 1 in a bazillion, you know. Anyway, thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Artie's Music, and I'll see you later.